All right, hello and welcome to another episode of Sacred Sobriety, the podcast of healing, hope, and inspiration as we all are making our journey through recovery, exploring who we are, and discovering our sense of purpose and meaning as we are pressing forward with steadfast faith through Jesus Christ in that journey process. Living in sobriety, taking one day at a time, each step focusing on our progression towards a beautiful, wonderful life. And today we are going to be talking about the commission of the call. And I keep getting asked by people, because I'm sharing this over on my social media, and I'm hoping that you guys are sharing this on your social media platforms as well. I have been asked, where am I getting these materials? And I tell them, well, I'm upfront and transparent with that because it is right now coming through the devotional, My Utmost for His Highest, by Oswald Chambers. And as I've stated throughout the previous episodes, it is one of my go-to favorite Christian devotionals that has inspired me, has helped me in my own faith, and has helped me also in my own recovery process. And it is always the go-to. I know there's a lot of devotionals out there. There's a lot of recovery-oriented devotionals. I have many of them on my shelf. However, there's something about Oswald Chambers' My Utmost for His Highest that just really gets right into helping not only understand the scriptures, applying them into our own lives. And so my goal and my objective bringing this to you is to help you see that and expound upon that with my own personal thoughts and reflections and ways that is recovery oriented, so that we can continue to grow together in sobriety, in faith, as we are fellow travelers on the path of recovery. And so today is about the commission of the call. And we are exploring how the journey of recovery may lead individuals to find purpose in helping others. After all, what is the 12th step about? That we are carrying this message of hope to other people who are suffering. And so in a way, it is a call to minister. It is a call to bring a hope to other people, to be the light in their darkness, to be the beacon of hope in their hopelessness and despair. And so that's what I want to explore with you today, because one of the things that they stress within the recovery rooms is to be of service, to serve other people, to take opportunities and serve within the recovery rooms. Whether it's Celebrate Recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous, there's always room to minister and serve others in whatever capacity you're able to do. And so today's podcast is a follow-up from yesterday's podcast about what this may look like and how that might fit within your own recovery process. And so let's go ahead and look at how we can minister through recovery, where we're finding our call and commission, because this process is both personal and profound, as many who achieve sobriety feel called to mentor or sponsor those facing similar struggles. So this is more geared towards about becoming a sponsor or wanting to mentor somebody. And in yesterday's podcast, I mentioned that one of the recommendations of becoming a sponsor is to at least have a minimum, in my personal opinion, and opinions vary, a really good, healthy, sober support, accountability partner, mentor, sponsor is one who has at least 2 years of recovery under their belt. And some may agree, some may disagree. The challenge is if you're fresh and new to the recovery and you're 3 months in and you want to sponsor, it might not be a good idea. There are other opportunities to serve. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you can't serve and you can't minister to other people. Even your very own presence in those recovery rooms and sharing your story is a way of ministering and fulfilling that call. As we grow in our recovery, grow into understanding who we are and overcoming our own hurts and habits, we want to be able to then take that and reach out and help other people along the way. And so, and this may not be for everybody. Not everybody may be cut out to be a sponsor or mentor. In some capacity, though, recovery is about reaching out to those who are suffering as well. And so there's a lot of information here. And when we're looking at this, we also want to understand that there's a distinction between being called and commissioned and how significant that might be. You know, a calling is an inner invitation that stirs our spirit, while commissioning is a formal sending to serve in specific roles. And both are essential as they shape the path toward ministry. Oftentimes, God calls individuals unexpectedly, prompting individuals to embrace new challenges. This call invites vulnerability and connection, allowing people to use their experiences to support others in recovery. Serving others fosters a sense of purpose and builds community, which is crucial for personal growth. Acknowledging brokenness is a vital step. Embracing imperfections helps individuals connect with others and fosters compassion. Service becomes a way to manifest divine love, creating a healing environment. Finding a unique ministry role is essential for those in recovery. Individuals should reflect on their strengths and how their stories may inspire others. Building resilience through community support, such as support groups and mentorship, is crucial for recovery and ministry. Trusting God's process is a challenging yet rewarding journey. Suffering often brings growth, deepening the relationship with God. Personal transformation stories serve as beacons of hope, showing others that change is possible. And so, when we are looking at this and understanding the idea of ministering during recovery, we are understanding that as an opportunity to shine a light for others. By stepping into these roles, individuals may use their experiences to uplift others while building a supportive community. The journey is about connecting, healing, and inspiring hope in those who are struggling. And so, let's go ahead and take a moment, get your hearts and minds prepared, and I will be right back with more on this, the commission of the call. Hello, and hope you are ready to be inspired and empowered and edified. Today we are going through the message and devotional of Oswald Chambers, My Utmost for His Highest. It just amazes me that every time I pick this up and look at it and reflect upon it, meditate upon it, and read the scriptures, and asking myself questions, the influence it has had on my life over the years, not only in my life as a Christian, in my life as recovering from my own personal issues, substance use disorder with alcohol, and also overcoming the toxic traits, attitudes, and behaviors associated with growing up within being an adult child of alcoholics and family dysfunction. And so today's message of hope for those who are suffering or who are experiencing faith crisis is the commission of the call. And here is Colossians 1:24, where the Apostle Paul writes, I rejoice in what I am suffering for you, and I fill up in my flesh what is still lacking in regard to Christ's affliction. And here's what Oswald Chambers has to say on this. And again, this is very profound. Sometimes you have to read it a couple times before it actually kind of sets in. However, I'm going to read the devotional and then, like always, unpack some of the takeaways for it and how we can apply this into our lives as we are on the road of recovery, pressing forward with steadfast faith in Jesus Christ. The call of God is utterly unique. We think we are answering God's call when we devote ourselves to spiritual service. But once we get into a right relationship with Him, we see how wrong we've been. When God calls, He calls us to something we've never dreamed of before. In one radiant, flashing moment, we see what He wants us to do, to fill up in our flesh what is still lacking in regards to Christ's afflictions, and we are riveted with a terrific pain. The call of God has nothing to do with personal holiness. It's about being made broken bread and poured out wine. If we are ever going to be made into wine, we will have to be crushed. You cannot drink whole grapes, but God may never crush those who resist the fingers He uses to do it. Those fingers may belong to someone we dislike, or to some set of circumstances to which we said we would never submit. We think if only God would use His own fingers to crush me, and do it in some special heavenly way. We have to learn that we cannot choose the scene or the means of our martyrdom. I wonder what kind of fingers God has been using to squeeze you. Have you been hard as a marble and escaped? If God had persisted in squeezing you while you were still unripe, the wine would have been remarkably bitter. If you wish to be a person whom God can easily crush, you must allow His presence to govern every element of your natural life and to break those elements in His service. We have to be rightly related to God before we can be broken in His hands. Keep right with Him. Let Him do with you as He likes, and you will find that He is producing the kind of bread and wine that will benefit His other children. Again, quite profound, quite inspiring, and you're probably wondering, well, okay, what does this have to do with recovery? Well, think about it. In recovery, we're already coming to a place of despair. We're already coming to a place where we are realizing that we are hopeless. Yet, what ends up happening is, from my own personal experience, and I can only speak from my own personal experience, is that the moment we realize that our lives are powerless, that we are no longer able to manage it, and then that we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity, and then made a willing commitment to turn our lives and will over to our Heavenly Father, the first thing in doing so that we have to be ready to endure and overcome is the crushing of our old self, is the breaking of the old self, breaking the mold, breaking the toxicity of our attitudes and behaviors, break away the strongholds that we have put in place. All of that stuff has to be broken. And because if we continue to maintain those strongholds, if we continue to maintain those attitudes and behaviors, we're not going to be able to be of use to God, nor are we going to be able to be open and receptive to change. We're not going to be teachable. We're not going to be flexible enough to endure hardships that are going to come our way, because we are still stuck in the same old routines. And so part of turning our lives and will over to God means we have to allow ourselves the ability to say, okay, here I am, crush me. And it comes to mind that as I think about this, the wedding in Cana in the Gospel of John, that when Christ turned the water into wine, what came to mind was that when the person who came to Jesus typically says that the best wine was given before, and then the not so good wine, after everybody's drunk in a drunken stupor. But he praised that the good wine was saved for last. Well, in a sense, when we look at it, the crushing of our present understanding of who we are, the crushing of our identity, the crushing of our thoughts, our beliefs, all of that, when we put ourselves into the hands of our Heavenly Father, when we give our lives over to the will of God, give our lives over to the will and care of our Heavenly Father, we are giving permission for Him to crush us, to use moments to teach us to rely on Him, moments to make choices to either continue down the road of addictive attitudes and behaviors, or continue to walk the straight and narrow path of recovery that provides healing and forgiveness and provides everything that the sober life offers us. Are we willing to do that? And it's interesting because I was reading through some things, and the idea of a lot of times people come into recovery much like they come into the Christian faith too. I see it happen that way too. A lot of times when people come into recovery rooms, or they come into a church, and they come to realize that they need to turn their lives over and make whatever changes they need to make, they're looking for a quick fix. They're looking for a quick rescue me. They're looking for somebody to lift them out of the swamp of despair. And what tends to happen is a lot of times they end up getting frustrated because you don't realize the amount of work that goes into walking the path of recovery. And so a lot of times I think people get overwhelmed. I think a lot of times people end up getting disappointed and heartbroken, and then say, well, recovery's not for me, and then they start blaming, well, I can't go to recovery rooms like AA because it just causes me to relapse. And what I really hear is that I'm not ready for change. I'm not ready to give myself up. I'm not ready to be crushed. And because that means that I have to let go of all my attachments, I have to allow myself to be broken and vulnerable, and I'm not willing to make that commitment. And so that is the challenge. That one aspect, that's the commission of the call. The commission of the call for us when we come into recovery is to allow God to break us, to become broken bread, to become broken vessels, so that He then can take aspects of our lives and piece them together and mold them into something better, something good, something beneficial, and that we become the good wine that's saved for the last, that we become the healing balm to other people who are suffering. And I think when you are able to make that commitment, you end up getting into that place where you experience recovery from a different perspective and understanding. And so, ministering through recovery, finding your calling commission, because in recovery, finding our path may feel like an uphill battle. Yet this journey often reveals a deeper purpose, and for many of us, that's ministering to others. The concept of God's unique call is both profound and personal, especially for those living in sobriety and seeking to sponsor or mentor others. It's not just about filling a role, it's about embracing a divine commission that fosters personal growth and extends beyond ourselves. As we navigate through recovery, the call becomes clear. It isn't merely about evangelism, but about being there for others who need guidance and support. Ministering provides a dual benefit. One, helping others while reinforcing our commitment to sobriety. We become vessels of hope, sharing our stories of resilience and renewal. Let's explore how this call not only transforms us, but also empowers us to make a meaningful impact in ministry and recovery. And so, what does it mean? How do we define the call of God? Well, understanding the call of God is central to our journey, especially for those of us striving to minister while living in recovery. It's a powerful and personal experience, shaping our purpose and guiding our actions. This call may often stir us towards profound personal and spiritual growth, molding us into mentors and sponsors for others on a similar path. And there is a difference between calling and commissioning. When it comes to God's call, it's important to distinguish between being called and being commissioned. A calling is a divine invitation, often deeply personal. It's like receiving a heartfelt letter addressed to your soul. It's a realization that washes over us, stirring our spirit, nudging us toward a life of service and ministering. On the other hand, commissioning is a formal sending off on a mission. It's like receiving marching orders with clear directives. While a calling may open our eyes to the possibilities and responsibilities in the ministry, commissioning sets us on a defined path to serve, often through structured rules like preaching or teaching. Understanding this difference may help us better comprehend our journey in ministry. It's akin to a seed growing into a robust tree. Calling plants the seed, while commissioning nurtures its growth. And here's the nature of God's call. God's call is often unexpected. It may be as surprising as finding an oasis in the desert. We might think we have our life all figured out, walking a straight path, when suddenly God's call induces a sharp turn. This divine nudge must be embraced with an open heart, even if it leads us down unfamiliar roads. The nature of God's call is such that it doesn't always align with our plans. It may lead us on a path filled with unexpected challenges and blessings. This journey, though unanticipated, often aligns us with a sense of fulfillment and purpose we could never have envisioned. God's call to minister is about finding strength in our vulnerability and using our experiences to lift others who walk alongside us in recovery. In embracing the call, we become conduits of love and support, helping others navigate their path to sobriety and spiritual growth. Through this, we find not just our calling, but also our commission to act, inspire, and lead by example. Experiencing God's call in recovery. Recovery from addiction is a journey filled with ups and downs. One key aspect that may bring deeper meaning into this journey is experiencing God's call. For many, this call becomes apparent when we embrace spirituality and let it guide our paths. It's about recognizing our purpose and how we may minister through our personal experiences. And here is the role of spiritual service. Service is a profound way to respond to God's call. But why is it so important? When we serve, we let go of self-centeredness and begin to focus on others. This shift is often transformative, especially for those of us in recovery. It gives us a sense of purpose. By ministering to others, it not only aids in their recovery, it strengthens our own. It's astonishing how helping someone else may light a spark in our souls. Helps build a community. Service connects us to others in profound ways. We form bonds with people walking similar paths, creating a support system rooted in our shared experiences. And then there's the personal growth aspect. Because each act of service is a step forward, these small steps accumulate, helping us become more compassionate and understanding. Are we answering the call by extending our hands to those in need? By serving others, especially in a spiritual context, we manifest God's love and mercy, fostering an atmosphere where healing thrives. And here's where we want to embrace brokenness. Sobriety brings many challenges, including the need to acknowledge our brokenness. How does this tie into God's call? In recognizing our vulnerabilities, we often find strength and clarity to hear His voice. It begins by acknowledging our weaknesses and limitations. Accepting the reality we are imperfect is crucial. It is in our brokenness that we often find God waiting for us, ready to guide and support us. It helps us find spiritual healing. Our scars tell stories of resilience and transformation. By embracing them, we open ourselves to the divine healing that shapes our journey. Pathway to acceptance. Understanding that being broken is part of the human condition allows us to have compassion for ourselves and others. In the fragile cracks of our lives, God's call becomes clear. It may not be a booming voice or a grand sign, but a gentle nudge urging us toward redemption and purpose. As we continue on our path to recovery, we encourage reflection on these experiences. Our faith and spiritual service becomes not just actions, but a ministry, helping ourselves and others to move forward with hope and conviction. Ministering while in recovery? Well, ministering during recovery may be a journey full of challenges and triumphs. We've all faced moments where our past has shaped us, and these experiences are often the birthplace of empathy and understanding. For those in recovery, ministering offers a chance to shine a light for others who might be navigating similar paths. And so here, let's take a look at some ways we can find how unique certain roles within recovery allows us an opportunity to not only minister, but helps us build resilience with community support. Finding your unique ministry role. Ministering in recovery requires us to tap into our strengths and passions. Think about what makes you, well, you. Are you a great listener? Do you have a talent for organizing events or a knack for teaching? It begins by identifying our strengths. Reflect on past experiences. What skills or insights have you gained that might help others? Embrace your own story. Become the hero of your own story. Your journey is a powerful tool. Sharing your story may offer hope and show others they're not alone. And then explore different roles. Ministry isn't one size fits all. Maybe you'd like to lead a group, mentor someone one-on-one, or even start a blog sharing your thoughts. Or maybe even step out in faith and start up a podcast like I did. There are many, many different ways and opportunities where we can minister and share our stories and help other people along the way. Finding your role is like assembling a puzzle. Each piece represents unique abilities and experiences, and when they come together, they create a complete and powerful picture. And here's how ministering, as I like to refer it to, builds resilience through the support of our community. Resilience is key in recovery and ministry, and it often grows within the intertwined roots of community support. Surrounding ourselves with others who understand our journey may strengthen our resolve and boost our confidence. It begins by stepping out and joining support groups, because connecting with others who share your experiences may be a powerful motivator. It reminds us that we are not alone. Seek mentorship. Find someone who inspires you and learn from their experiences. You want to be a good sponsor? Have a sponsor in your life. Want to be able to be in ministry? Surround yourself with people who are in ministry. Whatever it is that you feel that you're called to do, you got to first learn how to do that. You can't lead if you're not willing to follow. And then foster relationships. Build friendships and networks with people who encourage your growth and well-being. Think of it as planting a garden. Each relationship needs nurturing to thrive. A supportive community acts like an anchor during life's storms, offering stability and strength. When we need it most, through these connections, we not only support healing, but also foster an environment where ministering becomes a shared journey. In our recovery, let's continue to find ways we are able to serve, uplift, and grow together. And then it comes down to our willingness to trust God's process. In the journey of ministering, especially while in recovery, trusting God's process may be both challenging and rewarding. Sometimes it feels like an uphill battle, but isn't it during these moments that we grow the most? Whether we realize it or not, God is with us every step of the way, turning our trials into opportunities for growth and transformation. Learning from suffering. Suffering is something that we all wish to avoid, but it often plays a vital role in refining our ministry. When we face difficulties, we don't just endure them. Instead, we grow through them. Our trials serve as a fire that refines us, making us stronger and more reliant on God. Suffering leads to growth. Experiencing hardship in ministering allows us to see the bigger picture. It's not just about the pain, it's about what we learn from it. Through suffering, we learn patience, empathy, and the importance of leaning on God. Deepening our relationship with God. During challenging times, our relationship with God becomes deeper. It's like a muscle that gets stronger with use. We turn to Him not just in moments of despair, but in gratitude and hope. Have you noticed how suffering has changed your own personal perspective? And here's the impact of personal transformation. Personal transformation stories are like beacons of hope. They show others that change is possible, and they inspire us to share our stories in our ministry. Inspiration from recovery stories. Hearing about personal recovery journeys may light a fire within us. These stories are more than just words. They're proof that with God, transformation isn't just possible. It is a promise. Guides others through shared experiences, because our personal transformations have the power to guide others in similar situations. When we share our experiences, we provide a roadmap for others to follow, making the path a little less daunting. How has your transformation inspired you to help others? Trusting in God's process isn't always easy, but as we look back, we often see His hand guiding us in our ministering efforts. Acknowledging suffering and celebrating transformations may lead us to not only inspire others, but also find our own deeper faith. Together with God, we may navigate any challenge that comes our way. And so I want to leave you with some thoughts to consider, and hopefully you have some takeaways. And I encourage you to, like I said, share this message with other people. And yeah, so here we go. We recognize the profound journey of those embracing the commission of the call while living in recovery. Ministering during this transformative process is not only a testament to one's strength, but also an opportunity to guide others towards healing. Taking the next step is vital. As we step into our roles as mentors and sponsors, the impact of our shared experiences becomes a powerful tool for change. Embracing our calling is more than just a personal milestone. It's a chance to light the path for others seeking sobriety and purpose. Let's move forward together, reflecting on how we can use our journey in recovery to uplift others. By doing so, we continue to build a supportive community where every person's journey is valued and respected. I want to also thank you for listening in today's podcast, and hopefully you are able to listen to more podcasts as I present this every day. And I kind of have a little challenge, because this is going on the second week of me doing this podcast, and I really want to build up a subscriber, a listener base. And so the challenge is, if I can get at least 500 people to follow and subscribe to Sacred Sobriety, A Path for the Soul, I will start doing live streams for you, so you can tune in. I'm working some things out where maybe I can turn it into where people can, through the live stream, they can communicate some of their ideas, their struggles, and do kind of a Q&A session. So I'm working that out. However, you want to, if you're interested in me doing live streams, I would love to get to 500 subscribers. In addition to that, I would love to get at least some, help with that. So if I can get some people, no obligation, and if you're willing to support this, do have a link for donation where you can buy me a cup of coffee, figuratively, not literally. I buy my own coffee, but there is this thing where you can click on the link and it says buy me coffee, and there you can give $5, $10, $25, whatever amount it is, and then share your message, how this has helped you and everything. And so if I can get at least a monthly commitment from people of a total of $500 with 500 subscribers, that would be awesome, and I can start doing live stream. And so it is about you, it is as much as it is about me. And a lot of the reason for donations is because it does cost money to pay for the platforms. It does cost money to host this on Podbean. It does cost money for to use a certain software program to help develop the content and go through and write and proofread and get this ready to go for you guys. And so, there are the cost factors that are unavoidable. And I do my best to limit as much as I possibly can, because this will definitely help offset most of those costs. And and it just goes to help promote this, to help encourage and inspire other people, and that's really what it's all about. And then anything above and beyond that, I I believe in tithing, and I do tithe on that as well, and I give into other particular ministries. I give into particular programs and organizations that I feel are doing a really good value within their community, as well as helping other people grow and overcome the struggles that they are facing. And so so that you can make a donation. That's one way to support. The other thing to do is to go ahead, if you're listening to this on YouTube, click the subscribe button, hit the alert bell, get the alert notifications, and then also follow me over on YouTube, because a lot of this is being posted along with other content that I do for my other website. It's just much easier for me to do it all from one base per se, and then have it out on those social medias. And then I do have a Facebook page that you can now go to, that I launched the other day. It's Sacred Sobriety, a Path for the Soul, and you can connect there as well. The link is dropped in the description there in the YouTube, as well as at the Podbean platform at Sacred Sobriety, a Path for the Soul. And as always, you can listen to this podcast on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Spotify. And if you want to leave a comment, go ahead and do so. And also, if you want to reach out, I will also put in the email address that you can reach out to me on as well. And so hopefully this has inspired you, this has empowered you, and love to hear your thoughts, love to connect with you. And thank you for your support. Keep pressing forward with steadfast faith through Jesus Christ, and have a good day.